But ideally, if you asked us back then, we as many options as we want. But now when you have too many options, it's like, man, do I go here or do I go there?
First thing to get on your nerve,
Well, swipe left.
First thing to get on your nerve is
crazy.
What does it mean to work through something now? I mean, I don't have to. If I got so many other options, so many other avenues that I can go to find someone, then I ain't putting up what is fighting, what is holding on, what is, you talk about growing apart. Well, I'm sure our parents did that. Our grandparents grew apart.
But they stayed together.
They stayed together.
Yeah.
And so now it's, man, I'm out the door because I can go get something else.
Right.
Yeah. Sure enough.
So then it goes back to how what's their value on marriage? How do they view it?
That's what I'm saying.
What's going to keep them like
Facts.
10 toes down, right?
Facts.
Because I know I'm not going nowhere. So what I need something, But that's why we got to do our due diligence and ask certain questions in the beginning.
Look deep before you leak.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
Because they say by 2030, 50% of people will be single by 2030. Yeah. So I always wonder, man, what does that mean for Christian dating? And I think that's why the word of God is so important, because it gives us instruction on how to live, despite the numbers, despite what's presented before us. Because let's keep it real, we do live in this ruthless world we live in. But it's like, I guess that's why we need to be even closer to God.
Of course. It's only going to get worse. We're living in the end times.
Yeah.
Whether people realize it or not.
Yeah.
It's the word literally in the birth pains. So it's going to get worse. That's a whole nother topic.
You know my word.
Deregulated environment. You haven't been saying it lately. I guess because we've been saying it before you were teasing.
Yeah, y'all already know. I think our listeners know. They like, he about to say deregulated.
But no, it's so accurate though. So we love it when you say
Can you be a good Christian and not a good spouse? Is that impossible? Can you be a good Christian man but not a good spouse?
Yeah, because when I don't think we can underestimate the influence that our upbringing has on us. We may have all the good intentions in the world, but if I don't know what it means to be a good husband because maybe I didn't see that. I didn't really. Now people say, well, at some point that becomes an excuse, but it's a fact. It shapes the way you are as a person. So if I grow up and I say, well, man, I really want to be a good husband. Maybe my father wasn't there. Maybe he passed or whatever the case may be. I don't have the example. If my mother was whatever she was, then what does it mean to be a good wife? What does this actually mean? So I think following God and being a good person, being a good Christian, that's important. But to me, being a husband, being a good father, being a good mother, these things it's more than just being a Christian. It's some more. That's why I say knowledge of self. People now that's another thing with Christians, we don't really emphasize therapy. And working out those inner demons. Because there are some things that we really do have to go talk to somebody about and work out in order for us to be productive husbands.
Sometimes we mask it with our Christianity.
There we go.
We hide behind God. Man,
and it becomes delusion.
I've seen it in the church before where I've seen people do certain things in the church. I'm like, wait a minute, you present yourself like this, but then okay. But then I didn't realize, like you said, we all got something we healing from, we trying to break from. And I told her my story before. I struggled a lot in relationships, but I lost my parents at an early age.
This is true.
So it was easy for me to detach versus attach. So, getting accustomed to, dating apps and all this other stuff. But then I realized, nah, man, have I worked a lot of this stuff out that I'm going through? So I had to go get there, but I had to go and work it out and understand myself more so I can come back out here and really date the way I'm supposed to date. But it took me a long time to figure it out. But I was like, I'm a Christian man. I'm a good person. But like you said, still having those demons.
Yeah, because it's a spiritual walk. It's just more than just a title of saying I'm a Christian and I'm a man of God. It really is a lifestyle and a walk. But spiritually, man, you're dealing with trauma. You're dealing with abandonment issues, detachment issues, codependency issues. And these are the things that if you don't know yourself, that's why I say knowledge of self and self-love is so important. Because the more you know about yourself, the more you know about your triggers and the things that help. Then when you get out in the world, it's a whole lot easier to be honest. But how can you be honest when you don't know yourself?
And you're dealing with generational curses.
Absolutely. Trauma, curses. Yep. This is a fact.
And you can find it. My therapist, she's dope and she's a Christian. So we got the same values.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And you got to find the right therapist for you too. That's another thing. That's a whole nother battle.
Yeah, it is.
Finding one that's compatible to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
If you feel like, hey man, I keep running into these issues when I'm in a dating world, then the common denominator in all these issues that you're running into is yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You.
So it becomes your radar. Is my radar messed up? The way I'm looking and who I'm looking for. And so now I got to work on some things in order to adjust my GPS and adjust my focus. So then I can start looking in the right places instead of the wrong ones. For sure.
I see in the church too, they have like single ministries and stuff like that. Do you think more churches should do more, have more Christian ministries? Maybe have classes on how to date, or what are some things that you can look for? I feel like they should put that more in churches, because when you have single ministries, they may play games or may just do little things. All the women do something together, but I think they need to have a class on, okay, this is how you date. This is how you court, or this is how you date intentionally.
That's a big word. Court.
Right.
But with court,
That's a big word. That's a good word.
in this deregulated market, we look at courting a little different, like the dinner dates, all this other stuff. But there's a way to do it.
It is a way to court. Yes.
Do your research before you spend the money and invest. That's on y'all. If y'all gonna blow $300 on the first date and you don't know her, that's on y'all.
This is true.
Y'all got to do your research and protect yourself.
This is true.
You got to.
They had this one dude blew $1,100 on the first day.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy
Yeah,
work, bro.
that was one of my
How you
hot topics.
blow $1,100?
Yeah, God.
How do you blow
And it was
$1,100 on a
mad.
day,
And it
bro?
was mad because she didn't go home with him. Yeah.
$1,100
Yeah.
$100
on the first day.
And
On the
that's,
first
and
date.
that's wild uncomfortable for females like me. Like, no, that's too much. Like, that's
Well,
super.
but that's a good point. What does that say about a female that would even allow that?
I don't know
that say?
because I'm not. I'm just like, wait a minute, what?
$1,100. That's crazy.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's too much.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, nah. No, but that was a good question. I want to. So since you read about Proverbs 31, and we talking about men, and I'm gonna read 1 Peter 3:7.
Okay.
It says, "In the same way, you husbands live with your wives in an understanding way, with great gentleness and intact, with an intelligent regard for the marriage relationship, as with someone physically weaker, since she is a woman. Show her honor and respect as a fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered or ineffective." So that's how important that it is for men. Again, we're talking about the leading and the covering. And yes, we all struggle with our flesh, but First Peter is telling men, like, your prayers, so that your prayers won't be hindered to God. So he even calls you guys to a higher standard than us, because we're supposed to submit to you guys. So it is important for, yes, men to consider, to your point, do the work and things of that nature. But goes back to what I was saying about working on the character to sustain a marriage. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
So yeah, I wanted to put that out there because y'all always screaming Proverbs 31, but we got something right back for y'all. Okay,
That is the one they go to.
Peter 3:7.
That is the one they go to. Facts.
I like that, though. That's what's up.
This is such a great, healthy conversation. I want
Yeah.
to say that with y'all, because it doesn't happen enough, or it doesn't go viral enough. People have these conversations, to your point, because there's a lot of people that are struggling with this, and they need to hear more healthy dialogue in people's experiences. And, you know, out of love, we're sharing knowledge out of love, not out of judgment, not out of condemnation. So this is important that we're doing this discussion. I just wanted to say that.
Been very healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think too, a lot of people have a deeper understanding about Christianity. About, you know, you can be a Christian and still date successfully out here and still find the person you want.
Yeah.
You know, I know I used to look at it a little different. So I definitely came a long way. But you know, that's why I wanted my man Forte on the show. You know, a man of God as well. I said, man, he'll be perfect for this show to really just kind of like speak on it. You know, since you've been a big part of my life. You know, and we've done a lot of work together. So now I got a question I want to ask you though.
Yes, sir.
This is kind of off the grid, but give me your three top. First of all, I'm gonna say give me your top 3 Christian movies of all time, and then give me your top 3 movies of all time, and then I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna go with you. Give me your top 3 Christian movies of all time, and then give me your top 3 movies of all time.
Top 3 Christian movies of all time. The Shack.
Okay, that's a good one.
The Shack is an incredible movie. The War Room was very good.
Have you guys ever seen The War Room?
That was going to be one of my top 3.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's one of your top movies.
Top three.
Top
Yeah,
three.
he said three.
Christian movies.
Christian movies.
Christian movies.
Yeah, War Room. They don't make many of them.
Yeah, they don't.
And I'll probably say A Mother's Day.
I was in that, by the way. Check it out.
He
you
was
know?
in that.
Yeah.
That's my film.
tough.
And top 3 movies. Oh man,
Top-
that's
That's
hard,
tough. I
man.
know it's
Yeah.
tough.
That's
Ooh,
hard.
that's too
Give me
hard.
3. You gotta give me
Oh
some.
my gosh, that is so hard.
Is that hard?